In Grand Theft Auto 5, there's a striking building in Los Santos called Bishop's WTF, complete with a UFO crashing through its wall. It's clearly a satirical nod to the real-world Ripley's Believe It or Not, museums that are known for their outrageous oddities. Today, we're diving into how that fictional design mirrors a real cultural institution and what it reveals about our fascination with the bizarre. Picture strolling down a Hollywood-style boulevard and passing a building hosting the world's weirdest artifacts, then seeing a full-sized UFO embedded in its exterior. That's exactly what GTA 5's Bishop's WTF does. It physically merges absurd spectacle with normal city life. That absurd visual is not just a gameplay Easter egg, it's a wink at a century-old museum legacy that trafficked in the strange and surreal. Everything about Bishop's WTF feels carefully crafted to evoke both humor and recognition. The neon sign that reads WTF in big bold letters. The model UFO jutted at an impossible angle through the second-floor brickwork. A faint hum that plays when you pass. It reads like a video game satire, but it reflects a real-world tradition of embracing spectacle to draw crowds. Ripley's museums around the globe frequently build facades that mimic catastrophe. Planes crashing through walls, tilted houses teetering into sinkholes, or dinosaurs bursting out onto sidewalks. Rockstar condensed that architectural prank into one building and then layered it with absurdity. You don't get to enter the museum. There's no exhibit inside. It's purely visual world building. But in that limited space, Rockstar captured the same energy Ripley's cultivated for nearly a century. The thrill of encountering the impossible in the everyday. The game's designers placed Bishop's on a stretch modeled after Hollywood Boulevard, with star-studded sidewalks, tourists lingering in front of storefronts, and glitzy marquees overhead. Just before you hit the fake museum, the street energy shifts, and you feel the kitschy neon and the audio cue of a UFO approaching. The city becomes stage and satire. You understand it's fictional, but instantly think of that time you stood outside Hollywood's real Ripley's, maybe snapped a photo with its giant shark jaw or dinosaur hanging off the roof. By invoking those memories, the game leverages shared cultural shorthand. We don't need to explain what Ripley's is, because we've seen it. And then that memory is warped into parody by exaggerating one key feature, a crashed spaceship. More than homage, Bishop's WTF is commentary. Ripley's museums collected odd artifacts of human obsession, shrunken heads, beds made of nails, and micro-sized portraits made entirely from burnt matches. The buildings themselves often added theatrics at the threshold, a crashing helter-skelter, a screaming skull instead of a marquee. Ripley understood that part of the odd is performance. GTA 5's version adds a comedic twist, crashes through the ceiling, flashes the neon, calls it WTF, and leaves it as scenery. That's the difference. In real life, Ripley builds exhibits and invites you in. GTA plants the spectacle in a digital cityscape so you can pause in traffic and snap a screenshot, then keep driving. If you dig into GTA fan lore, players often roam by Bishop's WTF. Take selfies, post them on forums captioned Ripley's if it had a spaceship, or when you want alien conspiracy but just get Vinewood. It's a moment of cross-referential delight. Players consciously connect the fiction to the real, creating their own metaphysical link between Los Santos and Hollywood. What keeps that building vivid in memory is its restraint. The game doesn't clutter the interior, and it doesn't create side missions inside. You get one visual gag, elegantly simple yet full of impact. It's a building that asks you to question what shortcuts in world design can deliver maximum deception for minimal code. You don't need an entire museum interior to sell the joke. All you need is a crashed UFO, a WTF sign, a street corner, and an ambient drone. Everything else your brain fills in. That resonance explains why Bishop's WTF remains one of the most photographed landmarks in GTA 5. When a new player discovers it, there's a moment of shared laughter. They didn't even do an inside. Returning players nod knowingly. It's the pleasure of recognizing an architecture-based Easter egg, referencing an institution we already recognize, and twisting it. It's affectionate, not hateful, parody. For gamers who have seen Ripley's in Florida or Hollywood, the reference hits like nostalgia. For others, it registers as game humor alone. But when they look up real-world Ripley's, they'll trace that memory back to the real chain. That chain began in the 1930s when Robert Ripley collected visual oddities from travels across the world and published them in cartoons. He then turned it into theaters and museums. Over decades, his team built installations meant to shock crowds, not through fear, but through curiosity. The museum architecture always looked like part of the exhibit, each building an illusion in itself. That architectural daring is what GTA emulates, with a satirical twist. It gleans the same design energy, then compresses it to one absurd detail. The game also invites broader questions. In a world driven by spectacle, what is the value of substance? Ripley's museums still maintain explanatory placards, stories behind the oddity, and context for beliefs. Bishop's WTF gives you none. It doesn't want your time, just your attention for one beat before you continue your mission. That says something about entertainment culture. We want the weird, but not the wisdom. Still, in the absence of the interior, Rockstar forces players to invest their imagination. You fill in the interior exhibits. You invent the oddities you imagine they'd display because you can correlate trilobites with glowing eyes, shrunken heads floating in glass, alien autopsy reconstructions. That imaginative participation echoes Ripley's storytelling dots between exhibits. Ripley's placards told backstories that engaged you. Bishop's invites you to finish the creative work in your head. In that sense, even with no content inside, the building feels complete. When sunset hits Vinewood Boulevard in GTA 5 and the Easter egg light hits the crashed UFO's underside, the glowing neon and digital reflection on the pavement creates an eerie hush at that corner. Players slow down, cars drift past. It's a static moment in the flow, a pause for spectacle. It might last only 2 seconds, but that's all it needs. Ripley's designs similarly create pause zones in museum spaces, rooms darkened with spotlit displays commanding your full gaze. Both ask, can you stare without scrolling? In real life, devotees who visit Ripley's museums often spend 1 hour dealing with oddity, then leave stunned. In GTA 5, players take a walk-by screenshot and move on. One is slow cultural absorption, the other is quick cultural recognition. Still, both are rooted in the same instinct. We enjoy being shocked, then moving on, keeping oddity alive without lingering in it. The UFO Museum in GTA 5 isn't just game fiction, it's a real place hiding in plain sight. If you want us to uncover more real-life spots behind the game's most mysterious locations, hit like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe so you're here for the next discovery.